Hello, my eccentric entrepreneurs. It's Taylor Ellwood, your business wizard at imagineyourreality.com. And today, what we're going to talk about is the topic of how you figure out when you can start putting your business money toward other things other than the business. And I want to mention here just how important it is to, first of all, have a business account and also have a personal account. You don't want your business money going into your personal account because aside from the fact that it makes things very messy if you ever get an audit from the IRS, it just makes life complicated because it's very hard to track then where that money is going. You always want to put your business money into a business account. And then if you need to withdraw it and put it into a personal account, you do that. But then you also need to actually track that you're taking those withdrawals because, again, for purposes of taxes, you want to make sure that when you send your taxes in, that you have an accurate picture there. That way, if you get audited, it makes life a lot easier for you because everything is in order, and we always want to keep things in order because it just makes our lives a lot easier. All right, so getting to the matter at hand, one thing that you may say is, all right, I've owned this business for a little while, whether it's a service or product-based business, and I have things I want to put that money toward other than just the business. And I totally get that. When you first start out with a business, a lot of times you're going to find that pretty much most of the money that you make is going to go right back into that business, whether it's covering expenses or it's being used for further research or the creation of products or something else along those lines. It's going to feed right back into it. And it's very important that you understand that because it is simply a reality. But at a certain point, you may start to find that you're making a lot of money. Can you actually put some of that money towards, say, your credit card bills or toward other things that are more of a personal finance? And the answer to that is yes, you can. However, you want to keep a couple things in mind. First of all, one of the things you want to keep in mind is, okay, what is your actual overhead of your business? What are your expenses? And what are you using that business money for? If you're using that business money to, say, help create another product line or something like that, then you really got to make sure that you track that actual product line. You have to track the cost of creating that product. You want to look at the cost of distribution and wholesale and all those other important factors, and then look at your actual profit. How much money are you bringing in as a result? And here's the interesting thing about that. You really need to look at the numbers carefully because sometimes it might seem like you're making lots of money, and maybe you are, but all that money's going right back into the product, and so what's happening is you're not actually making the money. Maybe you're in the red even though it seems like you're making a lot of money. Or maybe you're just breaking even. The defining characteristic of a business, a successful business, is the profitability aspect. That there's actual genuine profit. You're actually making money and you're able to put that money away. And the only way you can determine that is by looking at what the costs are and deciding and being able to determine from that how much money is actually going back into the business and how much money can be put aside. Even when you can put money aside, I think it's really important that you're very clear about what you want to use that money for. Um, when you're self-employed, you definitely want to make sure that you're putting some of that money aside for retirement. Whether or not you ever think you'll retire from your business, it's better to have some of that money socked aside for a rainy day, and it's a good idea to have some interest accumulating on that, so that you're getting dividends. So you want to talk to a financial advisor about that, because there are some excellent programs, products, if you will, for that, for self-employed business owners. And you want to make sure you know what they are and that you're doing it the correct way, again, for tax purposes. Um, I also think you should always have an emergency business savings. And what that really means is that you have some money put aside in your business savings to make sure that you aren't setting yourself up for failure. if something comes up, or so that you have money socked aside for taxes. Although really, realistically, you should actually have two business savings. One which is an emergency savings for the business, and one which is a tax savings for the business. That's where you put the money for taxes. And in the latter case, you just treat it like it doesn't exist, because for all intents and purposes, it shouldn't exist. It's just there for taxes. But even then, you also want to think, okay, we've put money aside for the emergency, we've put money aside for retirement. What else are we going to use that money for? Well, then you want to think about how then it comes right down to the relationship you have with money in your life in general. I always say pay off debts, and then if you're going to put money toward luxuries or things like that, just make sure that it's something you genuinely really want. But still, remember to save, 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 because again, you want to make sure you have some money put aside in retirement, but do it the correct way. So my advice really is talk to a financial advisor, talk to an accountant for some of these different things, but also really just to have a very clear idea as to what is actually going on with your business, with your services or products. You always want to know what the expenses are, so that way you can determine if the service or product is actually producing a genuine profit, or if it's just breaking even, or if you're in the red. Alright, my eccentric entrepreneurs, that's it for today. Have any tips or suggestions about what we've talked about? Leave them in the comments below, and if you want to subscribe, make sure that you click on the little dragon icon over here, and you will be able to join this channel. Thanks so much, and have an awesome weekend, my eccentric entrepreneurs.